What's up, guys? Welcome back to hashtag AskBRP. I'm Seth, and we are on to episode 9. This week, I'm going to explain what goes on behind the scenes in a pawn shop when someone is late or defaulting on a loan. I'm going to explain how we decide when we actually will default the loan, what circumstances we consider when giving an extension on a loan, and just how much leeway do we actually have when it comes to extending a loan. But before we get into that, let's recap last week. So last week was a rather short episode. I talked about how pawn shops can be great economic indicators, and based on how customers are paying their interest on their loans, can really give you a good idea of how the economy in general is doing. If you want to see that episode or any of the other episodes I've done in the past, just search hashtag AskBRP on YouTube or Instagram. Now on to episode 9. Most local pawn shops that you see are family-owned businesses, small businesses. They're usually not part of a big corporation or big business, although some are. And usually with small businesses, there's more room for the owners and managers to make their own decisions. The law in Florida states that after 60 days, if you haven't paid your loan, the pawn shop can default it and list it for sale. However, we rarely do that. Because you're dealing with people, and when you're dealing with real people in your community, it's hard to stick to certain dates. Sometimes a couple of extra days will really help our clients out and will allow them to make a payment and keep their loan in pawn, or actually redeem the loan also, which is great for them. So how do I decide when I actually will default a loan? So a lot actually has to do with the history I have with the customer. If it's a customer that has a long history with us of doing loans and paying their interest on time and redeeming, I'm more likely to extend him or her on their loan. Some of our clients have multiple loans at a time and have had multiple loans for years, and the dates get very confusing. And since they have a very good record of paying on time or close to on time, I like to work with them. A lot of my clients too are in commission-based salaries and don't always know when money is coming in. And so it's hard for them to stick to the exact 30 days. Every 30 days payment is due. So if we give them a little bit more time to pay, then they really, really appreciate it. And it's also a shame to lose an item if you're a couple days late. I would hate to default someone just because for a couple days, so I always try to work with our customers. However, if you're a new client and you pawn something and then you let 60 days go by and you haven't paid us or called us and told us you were going to be late, I might default the item and try to sell it quickly because there's no history of payments being made. So when we have a loan, we're expecting to collect interest on it. And when no interest is coming in, then we have to try to get our money back and sell it. But we always try to call, email, send a text at least once before we default something because like I said before, we really don't like to default stuff if we don't have to. But sometimes if it's a new customer and they really have no history with us, we have no other choice. And as far as leeway goes with how long we can actually let someone extend a loan, we have customers with loans that are 3, 4, 5, 6 months past due, but we keep it active because every once in a while they do make a payment. And at the end of the day, it just depends on your relationship with the client. If they're going to make a payment every 2, 3 months, you'd rather have them as a customer than not have them as a customer. So it's worth letting them pay a little late and eventually catch up over time. So that's it for episode 9. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Boca Raton Pawn and Facebook.com/Boca Pawn Shop. Also, don't forget about the page on our website, BocaRatonPawn.com/AskBRP. You can find all the episodes there. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next week.